Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Viewhouse Centennial on a Victory Monday. Been a while since we've had a double Victory Monday here, and who better than former NFL All-Pro, former Colorado Buffalo, Chad Brown. We're going to break down both victories here, Chad. That's why we wanted to have you, someone that could talk both, knows both really well. Feels good, doesn't it, to have two Victory Mondays?
It does. It does. And I thought we were going to talk Colorado Rapids the whole time I was here, so now there's football to talk about. Good football to talk about.
I didn't know you were so versatile. We could throw some Rapids in there. That might be coming. But let's, of course, start with the biggest topic, and that is Bo Nix, who seemed to have taken a significant leap in this Week 3. What have you seen from him, and where do you think he took that leap?
Well, we saw flashes from Bo Nix in the first two games. But this time with the RPOs that Sean Payton called, taking advantage of Bo Nix's athleticism, we've seen him tuck it and run it. And he's more talented than just able to pick up the first down. He can make significant gains. So now to have a play caller support that part of his game, and then once you start doing that as a runner and as a quarterback, now the defense is afraid to go with man coverage. Now the quarterback is helping the play caller because the quarterback got helped by the play caller. So that reciprocal relationship between those two, I saw that on display on Sunday.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it certainly seems like Sean Payton did make some sort of adjustments. How do you think that manifests itself throughout the week, and where did you see it play out the most?
I think as a coach, you have to take a look at yourself, and take a look at yourself is to look at your tape. What am I calling? Am I putting my players in the best position possible? And it was clear the number of times they asked Bo Nix to drop back and throw the ball those first two games, that wasn't the best way to break in your rookie quarterback. So Sean Payton probably had a harsh talk with the man in the mirror once he got home and changed his play calling as a result of that and suited the play calling to feature his best player or future best player, Bo Nix.
Well, you had a lot of experience, Chad, in making quarterbacks' lives miserable. And this Broncos defense, has certainly done that the first few weeks and was spectacular on Sunday. This unit, where do you think they are the best right now, and where can they continue to elevate?
I think Vance Joseph has done a tremendous job. Go Buffs, always, my CU teammate, of course. But I think for this defense, which really only has one true all-pro guy in Pat Surtain, they're playing together. As a linebacker, if the defensive lineman in front of me is doing his job, and he's maintaining, say he's got the A gap, and the defensive end's got the C gap, then I know I've got the B gap. And it makes it pretty simple. I don't need to be a great player to maintain my gap. But if you're kind of peeking in the B gap and then you're going back to the A gap, then I'm not sure where I'm supposed to feel. Now you're taking away from my ability to be a playmaker. So what I see this group doing is they're playing really well together. Everyone knows everyone else's assignments. Everyone knows their own assignments. Therefore, you don't need to be spectacular and make great plays. Just do your job, and you see the results we saw on Sunday.
That's such a fascinating insight. And when we look at Vance Joseph, of course, this time last year, everybody's calling for his head, calling him for to lose the job.
7 points. It was a lot of points to the Dolphins.
After the Miami Dolphins game. How validating is this for him to now be where he is at with this unit? And everybody is talking about now what a great defensive coordinator he is.
It's funny how things change so quickly in this league. Going into this weekend, it was talk around maybe the Broncos and the Panthers will meet in Week 8, and possibly both teams could be 0-7. They both got wins last week. So it just goes to show how week to week this league is. So if Vance Joseph took all that criticism to heart last year, just know there's going to be another football game to play. Results can change. You keep chipping away and doing your job, good things will happen for you.
I love it. And you talk about this win. I know it's just one win, but we saw in the locker room, walking off the field, how much it meant to this Broncos team. How significant could a win like this be?
Well, I think when you couple that with the week at the Greenbrier, because they're going to stay on the East Coast to play the Jets next week, you couple this win with that good feeling not to come back in town and high-five everybody at the grocery store and do all that and feel so good about yourself, to get back to work in a kind of enclosed environment like they're going to have almost a mini training camp again, that can refocus them. This could be a step forward for this football team. I still don't think Bronco fans should start calling the hotel sites and booking rooms in New Orleans for the Super Bowl this year. But this is a significant step forward. And again, you couple that with that time together at the Greenbrier, I think this could be a strong move for them.
It's just fantastic. Well, Chad, it is so fantastic to have you here tonight and talk about a win. We just absolutely love it. On the other side, we're going to talk about another win here on Xfinity Monday Live. Monday Live brought to you by Xfinity Unbeatable Internet. With Xfinity Internet and mobile, enjoy faster speeds on millions of Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots. And I don't know about you, but I am still thinking about the way that Colorado Buffaloes game ended. We will get Chad's take on it on the other side. Welcome back into Xfinity Monday Live here at the Viewhouse Centennial. That's how Baylor felt about that. Chad, I'm curious, wherever you were watching, what did you think about what transpired in that game?
It just reminded me that CU has a lot of miraculous finishes in our history. I was on a podcast today with Charles Johnson, also another CU buff, and we were talking about there's been 3 last play of the games, with no time left on the clock when CU scored, where they ended up winning the game. The miracle in Michigan with Michael Westbrook and Cordell Stewart. Charles Johnson scoring on the 5th down in Missouri. And then on Saturday night between Shador and that receiver there. So CU has a history of this. I oddly was not surprised. Somehow, some way, this team finds ways to have these miracle moments.
It really is fantastic. And one of the reasons you feel like this team can have those moments, yes, Shador Sanders, but also Travis Hunter. I mean, this guy is like nothing we've ever seen. As someone who is an all-pro in the NFL, I'm curious your take on Travis Hunter. Everybody's having the discussion. Can he do this at the next level in some form? Play both sides.
Okay, at CU, we've had 2 receivers taken in the top 10 in the draft. Michael Westbrook and Michael Pritchard. We've had 2 defensive backs get in the Thorpe Award, the best defensive back in the country, Chris Hudson and Deion Figures. I couldn't imagine taking either of those 4 guys, any of them, and putting them together and saying this guy is going to be the best defensive back and the best receiver in CU history. And yet he is that. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like this. At the NFL level, I think the mental part may be more difficult than the physical part for him because he seems to have that down. But I wouldn't want to put limits on him. Coach Prime, probably the best salesman maybe of all time. He sold us on Travis Hunter and said how good this kid was going to be. He actually undersold Travis Hunter. Maybe the only thing he's ever undersold his entire life. We did not know how good and how special this guy is. He's got to be the front runner for the Heisman Trophy right now.
It's unbelievable to watch. It truly is. And then when you talk about the Buffs as a whole, when you talk about the Heisman, you feel like, okay, maybe the Buffs got to get a lot of wins for Travis to be considered. I don't know. What is it going to take for Deion Sanders to get this team to a bowl game?
They're chipping away at things. The run game, still a bit of a work in progress, 2.2 yards per rush this last game. Need more production out of that. 8 sacks for Shador. Some of those were on the offensive line. Some were on him trying to make plays down the field. But the second half defense, if we can get that defense to play that well in the first half and continuing into the second half, the way this offense puts up points, that should be enough. I've done a lot of Big 12 football games over the years. There's space in this conference for them to get to 6 wins and become bowl eligible. No doubt about that.
We don't have a ton of time, but is Robert Livingston working his way up to a head coaching job somewhere?
I think so. I think so. The way he's getting that unit to play together. Again, I talked about that for the Broncos. I'm seeing that same thing for the Buffs as well.
It's really exciting. Exciting times ahead. Well, we got to take a break on this side and get caught up on today's news and weather. I'm going to keep talking to Chad about Travis Hunter, but we will get you caught up on news and weather, and for that we send it over to Michael Spencer. Yeah, no kidding. What a night that was. Michael, thank you so much. It's time now for the People Want to Know. People Want to Know brought to you by Common Spirit, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos, champions for the communities we serve. And this is a great one. Sarah wants to know, what is your best memory as a Colorado Buffalo?
Ooh, it's easy. National championship. 1990 season, January 1st, 1991. Win a national championship in the Orange Bowl. We faced them the year before. We were undefeated going into that game. They beat us. We weren't quite ready for prime time. That next year, we started 1-1-1. Really mentally toughened us going through that stretch. And we cruised to the rest of the schedule and beat Notre Dame for the national championship. And I've got a ring somewhere at home with a #1 in diamonds on it. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, I don't really think that there's any way to top that one. That was fantastic. That was... Thank you, Sarah, for that great question. That was the People Want to Know, brought to you by Common Spirit. Next time, you're going to have to bring the ring now.
Okay, I will bring that.
Okay, I like it. All right, we're going to take a break here on Xfinity Monday Live. But coming up next, I'm going to have Chad compare and contrast something. And we are so thrilled tonight to have Chad Brown in the house to talk both Broncos and Buffs after 2 pretty incredible wins. And my question for you, Chad, is which win is more significant to their respective teams, the Buffs win or the Broncos win?
I think the Broncos win is more significant because they would have gone 0-3. Being in a football facility, NFL facility at 0-2, it's already no fun. But 0-3 just ratchets up the pressure in a way that's almost difficult to thrive in. It's difficult to laugh at anyone's jokes. It's hard to smile around the facility. For the Buffs to be 2-2, okay, still the bowl game's out there as a possibility. But 0-3 for the Broncos, and with some of this upcoming schedule, it would have been maybe the sky is falling. And the media attention, the questions from the folks in town, that could have been too much for them.
I'm glad you bring up the media attention because, of course, you know how it is with the Buffs right now for as long as Deion Sanders is there. So who has more pressure now for the following game?
UCF is going to be tough for the Buffs. It's going to be really tough. South Florida is always tough to play. That weather and that humidity, we're not used to that as Rocky Mountain folks. Could be rain in the forecast, which could make it a weather game, which is also tricky. And they're good. They're towards the top of the Big 12 rankings. They're 3-0 right now.
Yeah.
So, man, UCF or the Jets? The question is, who's the tougher opponent, or which game is more important?
Oh, we got 30 seconds left, so let's go. Which game is more important?
Which game is more important? It is more important for the Buffs to sneak a win at UCF. There's some of those teams down the road on the Big 12 schedule are pretty tough. So I love them to sneak a win here, get themselves that one step closer to bowl eligibility, making Miss Peggy very, very happy.
Oh, we got to get Peggy to a bowl game.
Yes,
That's
we
the
do.
biggest thing. Hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra minutes with Chad Brown, former All-Pro in the NFL, former Colorado Buffalo, champion Colorado Buffalo, excuse me, let me say.
Put some respect on my name.
Absolutely, amen. And we were having such a great chat on Xfinity Monday Live, and we ended on, I asked you who has more pressure for the coming week, the Buffs or the Broncos, and you said tougher matchup or more pressure. We didn't get to the tougher matchup, so let's start there. Who has a tougher matchup?
I think that's also going to be CU. Central Florida is really good. ESPN, I just looked at the matchup predictor. It's 82% for Central Florida. The spread is 14 points in this game. So I know we feel pretty good about our Buffs here locally, but nationally, there's not the same level of respect. And so this Central Florida game would go a long way to proving that. There's a lot of talented athletes in the Florida area. A lot of those guys end up at Central Florida. So for the Buffs, maybe for the first time all year, they will see a team that can match them athlete for athlete on the outside. We've seen Nebraska be better on the offensive defensive lines, but from a skill position standpoint, Central Florida will be able to run with these guys step for step.
That's going to be tough. Have you ever seen, Chad, I'm curious, anything like what is happening at Colorado right now, in the sense that there are people that, in my comments literally there, I'm just here to hate watch Colorado. People just want to see them fail. Have you ever seen anything like this with a program?
I don't think any program has ever had the hype machine driving that. So once the hype goes out into the world, people are either going to love it and get on board, or they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
So while you're trying to create all these lovers, in the process, you create haters along the way. And sometimes I think you got to use that as fuel for yourself. That means I'm doing something right. People don't hate on somebody who's awful.
Yeah.
They hate on people when they're having success and they're at the top. We got this weird thing in our country. We love to build people up and then knock them down.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're up top, there's always going to be haters looking to bring you down.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think the Broncos have a ton of haters right now. Maybe a lot of doubters.
There we go.
But they certainly proved a lot of doubters wrong in Tampa Bay. Now I think people still looking and then say, okay, well, now you're not going to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. What's the key to getting a victory in New York?
Build on what you did this week. I thought the play calling from Sean Payton fit his quarterback really well. Yeah. Javonte Williams, I'm sure there's some feeling within the facility that while he's not getting it done, but I don't need to see him be the primary ball carrier to start the game. Maybe there's something to be said for finishing the game or the half with a 4-minute situation where you try to chew up some clock. You want the big back end. The other backs this week showed far more explosiveness. So see the tea leaves as they are, Sean Payton. Javonte may be your guy, but these other guys are getting done at a higher level. That can also add something to this offense. And Vance Joseph has captured something with this defense.
Yeah.
They're playing really good team defense together. Keep building on that.
How does that team defense handle Aaron Rodgers, who was rusty at first, but seems to have figured it out?
Aaron Rodgers is one of the more difficult quarterbacks to prepare for because he's seen everything.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that Vance Joseph is going to draw up that he has not seen before. And so as a coach, you can go one of two routes. You can try to out-trick the trickster, which I experienced as an NFL player trying to trick Peyton Manning.
Yeah. How'd it work?
It was terrible. We ended up tricking ourselves. So Vance Joseph, don't fall into that trap. Don't make things so complicated for Aaron Rodgers that you make it too difficult for your own defense. Just make it difficult enough where you confuse the offensive lineman. Maybe you're running back in protection. Aaron Rodgers has seen it all. Those guys have not. So focus on those guys as a defensive play caller and get your guys to play at that kind of level.
All right, that is very interesting. Thank you so much.
We're
just going to send that over. Even though I know VJ knows, we're going to send it over anyway. Your buddy Chad, this is what his advice
My thoughts,
was.
Absolutely. Take my advice, VJ.
Well, we know he's watching, obviously. Chad, thank you so much. Such a treat having you on. Appreciate everything that you gave us tonight. We're going to hold on to this till next week. All right, thanks so much for logging on, guys. We'll see you next time.